Okay, it's Jacqueline and Irene with Okanagan Naturist Association.
Broadcasting to you from the Okanagan Valley of British Columbia, Canada. Welcome to the Nature of Naturism.
A radio show where non-sexual nudity meets nature, community, and you. And today we're talking on diet, women, nature, and body confidence with Shakay Leone. And Shakay is a mother and wife. She's author and founder of the World Detox Day. She is an inspired voice in the natural health and raw food community, founder of EarthEmpress.com, a company dedicated helping women embody their unique beauty through their exquisite self-care. And she also co-created worldwide events attracting tens of thousands of women featuring Marianne Williamson, Marcy Shimoff, Susan Weed, Byron Katie, Sheila Kelly, David Wolf, and dozens of others. And Shakay works with women who are here to live their legacy. And she believes you're beautiful and brilliant and you walk a path no one else can. And self-care isn't selfish, it's sacred. So welcome, Shakay.
Thank you. It's Shakay, but I know sometimes it's okay. I know sometimes it's hard to remember a new name. So I think of so Shakay, or you can think of Gaia, Mother Earth.
Yeah, wonderful. I was going to ask you that because I know women who use both A or I in that last with the AYA. So that's, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So we saw on your blog this past week that you're out barefooting in the snow and practicing some polar dips. So it sounds like you're still in late Canadian winter over there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we still have snow and it's end of April almost. So I guess climate change, maybe not so much of a hoax.
Yeah, possibly. We've also had a late spring here also. We're just getting to the beach now. We're out there a month earlier. So we know it's that late Canadian spring, I guess, this year. So
yes. Yeah, I think we're going to skip spring and go straight into summer. That's probably what's going to happen.
Most likely.
It's Canada. The weather's done that to us before.
Yeah. So in your little wonderful space over there, in your little nook, we've seen some of your beautiful photos of your forested areas and things. And so you've created a wonderful little world for yourself and a long list of accomplishments. 5 books, online courses and programs. And like I said, mentioned the webinars, the World Detox Day. You just designed your first runway show and you mentor women from around the world, yet you are outside year-round walking barefoot on the earth. Why? Tell us why.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I just love that you got it all in, from the mentoring women and the runway and the books. I really believe we can do it all. We can have it all. We can be it all. And I believe that we're designed that way. People say, what's the difference between health and disease? Well, health is not just lack of disease. When you're really, really healthy, you're not just free of disease. You're actually more intuitive, more high frequency, more in alignment with what I call the holy flow. And life is just easier, so you can get more done and enjoy it more. So one of the things I do to really make sure that I stay in my zone is barefooting, or grounding or earthing as it's called. And if you haven't heard of that, there's a great book on the subject called Earthing. And it really tells us that, the electrons from the earth is a nutrient. And yes, when we're walking the forest or swimming in the lakes or the ocean of Mother Earth, we are receiving those electrons and of course breathing. But because we're walking usually on like a sole made of rubber, we're wearing shoes, we're not really getting that earth to skin contact. And we actually require that. So when I started earthing several years ago, I didn't always barefoot in the snow and do polar bear dips. I used to really actually hate winter. I have, kind of grown out of that, thankfully, through this practice of just being on the earth all year round, walking and doing it barefoot and being outdoors. And it's gradually got me to the point where I could, handle myself in the snow and icy waters. And it's actually a lot of fun. And it really does boost your immune system and make you feel, I think, more tapped in and just happier.
Indeed, that's completely why we do naturism. So, you spoke of that beautifully. I loved how you shared about the electrons and all of that. That is so much the body positiveness of being connected to the earth. And so you shared with me earlier in some correspondence that you were very skinny and weak in your youth. So you're saying you were hating winters. So what was that turning point for you? What happened for you as a young woman that made you take another look?
Yeah, I think, it's funny, as humans, it seems like so often, like I don't fully believe that we have to suffer to grow, but it seems like very often that is the case. And we just get to a point where, some of us have to hit rock bottom. And my rock bottom wasn't, with alcohol or drugs. It was just a feeling of loathing and a feeling of really depression, unhappiness. I had insomnia. I just really, I wasn't well emotionally or physically. And I had grown up really skinny. And I know, with the skinny bitch books and it's almost like skinny has changed its meaning. When I was growing up, skinny was like a bad word. And you just felt so unattractive and so unhealthy. And I still consider skinny to be unhealthy. Why it's become so in vogue, I just don't know. I think what we want is to be slim and energetic and, strong. But I was very skinny. I had acne, bags under my eyes. It just was not a pretty picture. And I guess I always craved, we always want more. And it's not because we're greedy. It's because that's what this whole system, this beautiful blue jewel that we're spinning on, everything here is about expansion. So of course we want more, and I wanted more. I wanted my birthright to be a beautiful goddess type woman who enjoys life and has doors open for her just because of who she is. And I felt like my looks and my health and everything was holding me back. So I set on a path, to heal and to experience life the way I felt it should be for myself. And that really included a beautiful healing journey. It changed my diet, and I went high raw, and I just started becoming more conscious about all of my choices. And then, when one changes their diet, I really believe it has such a profound effect, where we start to feel radiant and vibrant, and we start to feel more beautiful and more sexy and just more alive and certainly more healthy. And then, one thing leads to another. And before you know it, you're attracted to things that maybe you were afraid of or repulsed by. Like I was never into nature when I was growing up. And, I was one of those kids who just really didn't really feel safe in the outdoors. I didn't understand it. And so when I went high raw and I started to feel so healthy, I just wanted to get outdoors. And I was raising my children raw as well. And we all had all this newfound energy and passion and excitement, enthusiasm for life and for new things. So we started to really get outdoors more. And my husband's a real naturalist. He loves the outdoors. And we live on the edge of the forest by the lake. And I always felt like I wanted to be in the city, but, affordable housing and his strong passion for nature, we ended up where we are. And I'm so glad, because I've just come to really love the fresh air and the sounds of bird song and the natural habitat that has all these little animals that you would never see in the city. And I'm still in a city, but it's a small city. And it's very, I'm right on the edge of the forest, so I spend a lot of time in nature. And I've seen deer and fox and turtles and skunks and, loons and all kinds of beautiful creatures. And I get to commune with them. And it's just been beautiful to have that, So sometimes our rock bottoms, our turning points, our forks in the road, they're always blessings in disguise. They're kind of gifts that open us up to what we really, really desire.
I agree. That's beautiful.
You mentioned your diet being raw. Can you describe that a little bit more for me? I'm not familiar with it, and I guess some of our listeners might be the same way. Can you put it in a nutshell as to the philosophy behind and how to do it?
Yeah. So it's really, for me, there's many, many different versions of the raw food diet, but for me, it's really about more whole foods in their natural state as much as possible. You want to eat organic or wild, local. Many, many raw food enthusiasts are vegan. I am high vegan, but I'm not 100% vegan and I'm not 100% raw, just very, very high of both of those. So I make food out of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and seaweeds. And it's pretty crazy amazing how good the food tastes, how beautiful it can look. I have a couple recipe books out there, including Nude Food and Sweet Seductions. And for example, I will make a gorgeous raw pasta. Now, you don't just take pasta and eat that hard, crunchy wheat durum semolina raw. What I do is I have a spiralizer that makes these beautiful, perfect noodles out of, say, a raw zucchini or a raw carrot or a raw sweet potato. And you've just got these long, stringy noodles. And so they're raw. And what I do is I will make say, for example, a raw Alfredo sauce. So I'll get some soaked cashews and I'll add some garlic and some black peppercorn and some salt and a little bit of olive oil. And I'll just blend that up into a beautiful sauce. And then I'll add some raw veggies diced up really small, or I might soak them first so they're a little more tender. Mm-hmm. And, you mix that around and you've got a gorgeous, beautiful pasta Alfredo. And I can also make cheesecakes and ice creams, and everything is actually made with raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and seaweeds. And I also supplement all of that with, say, for example, wild foods like nettles, for example. I have nettles that grow nearby, and we have a garden outside, and I have some herbs as well. And so I'll just make a nettles. I'll grab the stinging nettles leaves, and I'll just mortar and pestle it with some garlic and some pine nuts into a beautiful pesto. And that you can use over the zucchini as well, or you can use it with some raw crackers that I dehydrate in my dehydrator after I juice something like some carrots and beets and celery and cucumber and kale. Then I take the pulp and I just add some spices and herbs and seasoning and then dehydrate that. And that's like crackers. So it's really a lot of fun. It's a whole food cuisine.
No.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, I love the nettle. I never thought of nettle, nettle and pesto, but I've got some chickweed growing out back, and I was just eyeballing that because that also makes a fabulous little pesto.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it's really creative, and it's so healing. It's very natural and easy to digest, and it's also gluten-free and low glycemic, with natural good fats like avocado and coconut and nuts. So, the body just loves it. And that's how I found my natural beauty. When I started eating this way, I used to feel like I was just sickly and an ugly duckling. And when I started eating this way, I started to have this radiance and this vibrancy, and I started to see my own natural beauty. And that's the woman you see today in those fabulous photos. It's really all because of a diet change.
Wow. And it can be that simple. Exactly. Just to nourish ourselves. in the correct manner. And I can relate to that for myself in my own journey. And not that I'm completely raw either, but I understand that level of nutrition once your body awakens to that level of nutrition, and suddenly your mind kicks into another level about yourself, about the world, about your environment.
Absolutely. Getting back to basics and getting back to nature, it's where it's at for me.
Definitely. That's we're so glad we're here. You're here to share with us, because that's what we're also all about also. And so in that you spend so much time in nature and encouraging women to spend time in nature and to love and care about themselves naturally. I mean, that's just so much of what you exude in your work. And so when did you realize that you really needed to support other women to make this same deep connection?
Well, I was raising my boys, and I was asked to join a website for raw moms, and I was so passionate that tens of thousands of people all of a sudden started to read my blogs, and I created summits, and it just grew. And as my boys grew and as I grew, I started to move away from just supporting mothers to supporting all women. And I really became not just a mother, but I just became more in my own womanhood, and I started to support just all women, including myself. And so the focus shifted slightly, but the content was very much the same. It's really all about exquisite self-care, which is really important for women to hear, because so often we are the nurturers, and we tend to put ourselves on the back burners, and we want to get a lot of things done. And here in the West, we're very liberated, and we can do the same jobs as men, and we're empowered to do and choose and be whatever we want. And this is amazing. And we wish for every sister on the planet to have these liberties and freedoms. We all deserve it. It's our birthright. But there is a price, which is, we're just doing and we're doing and we're doing, and we're putting other people first. And often we can get sick or run down or just plain bitchy or depressed. And it's because we're not taking exquisite care of ourselves. So through a beautiful diet, through grounding and earthing and these types of practices, we start to become more embodied. We start to feel into, what is my value system and what are my priorities? And we become more creative and more aware and awake and just fully alive, I think. So I think every woman needs that message, because we're often in society, taught so many other messages counter to that are just so disempowering.
That's true. That's so true. That's so true. And that's a beautiful thing to bring to women, exactly because of that. There's so many women I've spoken to who just they don't know how beautiful they are. Exactly. They have never had anyone. They've always had just media to compare their lives to. So, that's that you get to play with a lot of women then and help them pull that beautiful gem out of inside of them.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
That's a beautiful gift. And I saw on your website when I was going through that you, as I mentioned, you're doing the fashion show and you design these gowns, and share a little bit about that with us. Can you please?
Yeah, so what happens is a woman will start with learning about grounding and getting more natural with her lifestyle and her diet. And it's a progression. Then she might lose a few pounds. She starts to maybe do a detoxification with me. It's like this whole journey. And then she goes on another journey of sensual beauty. And sensual beauty to me is really about sensuality, is about our senses, and really being in tune with all of our senses and really honoring our intuition, our pleasure, all of our senses. So sensual beauty to me means really feeling beautiful. It's not so much about the standard society props up and how we compare against that and what we look like to others. It's about when do I feel my most radiant? When do I feel my most beautiful? That's what sensual beauty means. And so women will go on a journey to really discover their sensual beauty. And then there's a journey about how to receive. Because I said earlier, we're doing, and the cost of all that achieving sometimes is receiving. So I teach women how to be very, very effective in the world, how to achieve, but also how to receive. And then, after women have gone through some of these journeys with me, then they want to really, have the finale, which is they'll fly in. If they're not local, they'll fly in, and we'll have a VIP experience, and I will design a custom gown with them. And then I'll take them out in nature, and we'll do this amazing photo shoot, professional photo shoot with a photographer. And they just get to really embody their, essence as a woman, their Earth Empress. That's the name of my website, as you were saying earlier, Earth Empress. And I believe every woman is an Earth Empress, because every woman is, a royal, regal, divine being. So that's where the custom gowns come in. I've always loved fashion, and I love natural fibers, and I love my gowns. I love my gowns to look like nature, whether it's flowing water or the gentle sky. And it's just so beautiful. There's no buttons or zippers. It's very flowing and very, very goddess-like. And my clients just love that.
It's beautiful. They sound beautiful. I love clothing like that when I'm off the beach or going to the beach or elsewhere, because it's just, I find it gives me room to breathe on my body. So much nowadays is so tight and clinging to us, and just allowing our body to be in its own space also, and allowing the clothing to add to us rather than form us.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we're all walking around in yoga gear all day, which is really, really tight. And I do that too sometimes. But just natural fibers and allowing your body to breathe and to move. And you feel more sensual, and you feel more grounded. Yeah,
indeed. So if you were left in charge of the beauty and fashion industry, what would you do? What are some of the things you would do to restructure it?
Well, that's a good question. I would want to do a lot. I mean, when you look at the toxic chemicals that women, there's lead in our mascara. There's just toxic chemicals in oh my gosh, everything that women are putting on their skin and on their face and on their hair, and they're cleaning their homes and their bodies with toxic chemicals. I would just eradicate them. They're just, big corporate greed. They're evil. And, you can use things like baking soda, clay, essential oils, lemon juice, honey. There's just so many ways. I have a whole book called Naked Beauty. I used to be an esthetician and a colon hydrotherapist, and I was always interested in beauty, and really, really came to a lot of my knowledge and understanding from the inside out. I wanted to know, how to clear up my skin because I had acne, and how to make my hair beautiful and my skin glow and my body feel and look strong and my skin smooth and soft. So I learned to use all these natural home-based, kitchen ingredient remedies that only cost pennies, but they just make you look and feel like royalty. And so I would really, just change all that, because all those chemicals are just really aging women anyway, and they're harming them in terms of their fertility, in terms of premature aging. So many wrinkle creams are actually causing wrinkles, and it just goes on and on. Our immune systems are being completely decimated by all the chemicals in our food, our air, our water, and our hygiene products. So it's very easy to do. Just, read my book, Naked Beauty, and you will have the best treatments on the planet for pennies, non-toxic.
Wonderful.
Totally wonderful. Can you share one natural beauty food or plant, something, maybe have in your book that people can find, or on your website, something that's your favorite, though, something you wouldn't leave home without?
Gosh, I have so many. Well, I talked about the nettles, so I absolutely love my nettles infusions and my pesto. Okay, let's take a really simple one, because I could talk about bee pollen or honey. there's literally so many that I could talk about. I'm going to talk about one in particular that I think is really, really simple, hypoallergenic, very, very safe across the board. And that would be coconut oil. Coconut oil, it's good in the bedroom, it's good in the kitchen, it's good in the bathroom. Like, there's nowhere you can't use coconut oil. So I use it for my hair. I put it on my ends. I use it on my face, my body. It's in my smoothies. It's in my puddings. You can use it just all over the place. You can put it on wrap your feet and your hands if you want, like a cuticle treatment. It's good for clearing fungus, even, apparently. It helps women lose weight because it contains lipase, which is a fat-splitting enzyme, which is really interesting. It helps you digest fat better. So I would say probably coconut oil, pure, organic, unbleached, unprocessed coconut oil.
Beautiful. That's one of my favorites. We just went and bought a big tub of it because we're actually regulars on kind of chocolate fat bombs, and I make sure I get enough coconut oil and coconut butter every day that way. So yeah, that's a wonderful one to share. So excuse me, tell us more of your books. I mean, you've got 5 books, is it? 5 books or roughly?
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, I'm just really into women feeling beautiful and healthy. I feel like health is like the gateway to beauty, and beauty is the gateway to health. Like, they're two sides of the same leaf, and it's our birthright to have both. So my book, Naked Beauty, is really all about my skin treatments and tells a lot about my story from how sick I was and how I healed and how I beautified and youthified. And then my book, Nude Food, is my recipes that are all raw and gluten-free and high glycemic and good fats, and they're easy to make. Like, anyone who's like struggling with what to eat, I've got like fast, quick, inexpensive, delicious, really, really healthy recipes that, they taste amazing. And then the desserts book, Sweet Seductions, and then I have the detoxification book. So I think that's all of them. I might have missed one, but it's all about just empowering us to keep it simple, keep it, clean, keep it earth-based and healthy. And I feel like health is the wealth that we all squander. Often when we're trying to create our wealth, we squander our health. But, as it's really important that we keep our health. And that's what all of my books are about: natural health, natural beauty, being empowered.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So you've also got some online courses and programs we saw other people can check out off your website. You've got a body cleanse and a radiance, the Radiance Retreat. Yes. I teach women certain practices and protocols and rituals so that they can, start to dial in like a more sustainable, natural, fulfilling lifestyle. We can't do it all at once, and you don't even have to. If you just do one thing differently today and then you build upon that, I mean, it just, like, here I am all these years later with like this treasure trove of wisdom, and my lifestyle has had a total makeover. But of course, you don't start there. You start with one simple thing that you will do. So one simple thing that you might want to start with, you could use the coconut butter instead of, these toxic creams, because it's going right into your skin. Your body's really absorbing it and digesting it. So that's just one simple thing you can do, for example. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. So you're also doing a spring cleanse right away. So share more with us about that and how people can participate with you.
Sure. So yes, every year at this time for the last 2 decades or so, I've been doing my own detoxification program, and I've really got it down to a fine art. There's about 7 simple steps. It's called the Body Cleanse, and it's a full body detoxification program. It's 21 days, and what it does is it really cuts through all the confusion and chaos around our diet and around dieting and around supplements and what to do. And, I really help people understand, what exactly is a detox and what it is not, and how to start and what's most important, the daily detox or the deep cellular detox. And, should we start with, clearing out the storage areas of our body, or do we have to start clearing the exits first? So there is a lot of confusion about detox, and there's a lot of crap out there, and, 1 day detox, 3-day detox. I mean, the body takes time to detox, but this 21-day system, it gets you on the path, and you can do it longer. You can do it over and over again. It's not that you're always going to be detoxing, of course, but you can do it more than once. I like to do a full detox once a year, and then I do modulated detox at every season, at the beginning of every season. So I've been doing this for, like I said, almost 2 decades or maybe more by now. And I'd say that is one of the most important factors in longevity, is to detox, because then our cells are clean and humming and the life force is going through them properly. That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps us healthy and vibrant. So it's not so much about, eating these like really exotic superfoods or doing anything that's really out there. It's really about, dialing back and going back more a foundational way of eating. I teach people the body cycles. There's 3 particular body cycles, and you're supposed to eat within one of them. And then there's a detox, a natural detoxification that happens within another one. And then the other one is for repairing and regenerating. But people are doing it all backwards, and they're just eating at any time. And there's a particular 2-hour window where our digestion is at its peak. And so these are the types of strategies and secrets that most people just don't know. But once you learn them, they're very easy, simple, and doable, and they make all the difference.
And these are things that really have been taught anciently and for a long time, though, really, in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
yeah, sorry. Do you find that spring, like, because you're doing spring, do you find, because in my research on these things a little bit, like I said, through the anciently that we've been taught, it's spring usually the best time to do a larger cleanse, and then say the shorter cleanses for the other times of the year?
Yes, and that's a good point, because after a long winter, we've been like hibernating, and we've been eating heavier, dense foods and maybe some comfort foods. And there's a lot of holidays around, the colder months. And so we're not always eating, the best, most supportive way for our system. But spring, Mother Nature in her loving wisdom has a backup plan, and that is to detoxify your body. And of course, our bodies naturally detoxify regularly, but because of, some of our habits and the pollution and the toxicity and the stresses of modern living, we do get really clogged up and backed up, and our organs, especially our organs of elimination and processing and storing toxins, they require some assistance. So in order to nudge the body's own natural detoxification, we want to do something like this that's really more thought out and conscious, and prepares the body to really start to do a deep spring cleaning.
It's really, as you're speaking here, it's just really taking me to the thoughts of, this is really another way to be present in our environment, our own environments, but it's really going deep within our own internal environment to really know what we've got going on inside of ourselves, and cleansing ourselves through.
I like that, like being in tune with the seasons. There's all these beautiful cycles in nature. There's a daily rhythm. There's a lunar monthly rhythm. There's a seasonal rhythm. And in today's fast-paced society where the lights are always on and we're staring at screens, we really do lose touch with the natural world. So doing a spring detox every year, it's just one way to kind of reset that and to start to feel more in touch with nature and her rhythms. And then we'll benefit from that.
Yes. Yeah. And with that shift of foods and with that spring cleanse and detoxification, what about waters and liquids? What do you find for yourself? Is it, tap water, filtered water? What do you find is best for this sort of adjustment of lifestyle?
Oh, good question. I think this is even more important than the food, actually. We drive about an hour, and there's a spring that's local, and it's a natural spring, and the water's been tested for very low solids or toxins, and it's just like a totally different experience if you've never drank water from the earth. I mean, it amazes me. It could be the hottest day in summer, like 100, way over 100 degrees, and we're all just like melting. And then out of Mama Earth comes this freezing cold, beautiful, clear, gorgeous, high vibration water. And you drink this water and your cells just lap it up and start singing. And it's a different experience than tap water or filtered water. And I do believe that is even, like, we're 70% water. So how critical is what we drink for our health and our well-being? And I don't know. I just think it's like one of the gifts of the earth and one of the gifts of going back more to nature. It takes a little bit longer, but when you're doing some of these rituals and practices, you feel happy. It's a weird thing. Like, go out in nature and try to be really, really angry or depressed. You just lose that after a while. You just get lost in the beauty, and you feel there's like this vibration of health and healing and peace. And I just feel like the matrix of this reality is love. And where can you feel that more than in nature? So when I'm drinking water from the spring, I just feel incredibly blessed. And also, by the way, this is a time when we will tap our maple trees and get maple sap, and people will turn that into maple syrup. We don't. We just love drinking the maple water. It is the most beautiful, glorious experience. And I've done art, like I paint as well, and I get so inspired drinking the maple water that I will paint, paintings just out of my bliss. And there's just nothing like it. And you can mix the maple water because it does have the natural carbs and sugars. It's a little bit sweeter than just plain water from the spring. But you can mix it with dandelion or cut it with other green veggies if you want. And it's an ecstatic experience.
Wow. I've seen a little bit of coconut water on the shelves. They're just starting to get it in here on our shelves in the Okanagan Valley. So, but to have it, of course, fresh out of a tree, that must be phenomenal indeed.
Were you saying coconut water or maple water?
Oh, sorry, both. I mean, maple water is what I meant to say. But yeah, we have coconut water here too. And that's something right. I try to drink to hydrate also when I'm finding out.
Yes. A wonderful electrolyte is coconut water, yes.
Yeah, I believe I read it's supposed to be almost, it's just slightly different than our blood, right? So when we take it in, it's readily absorbed. And
yes, and if somebody can't get to a spring and they're doing the best they can with reverse osmosis or filtered water, whatever they're doing, a simple tip that you can start today with is you can bless your water. And there's a whole study on that by Dr. Masaru Emoto. If you saw his book, The Healing Power of Water. Yes. I forget the name now. I've been recommending people for 10 years. Is that the name? But you can just Google it and see the images of the water crystals after the water was blessed. And so you can bless your water, bless all your liquids before you take them into your body, but also just add a good quality like Celtic sea salt or Himalayan rock salt to your water, a few pinches of that to the water. What it does is it helps make the water wetter.
Right.
It changes the surface area of the water. It enlarges the molecule and makes it more absorbable. And it's very good for hydration. So just to put a little bit of salt in your water is a really good thing to do for hydration. And, especially if you have low blood pressure, if you have really, really high blood pressure, maybe you wouldn't, even though a pinch probably wouldn't affect it at all. The high blood pressure would be much more affected by all the salt in your diet. That's usually iodized table salt and the stresses and that kind of thing. But to eat and to live this way and to drink pure spring water or natural water that's blessed and has a little pinch of a living sea salt, which has many, many minerals in it, would be good for you in most cases. Yes.
Yes, definitely. I know people who intentionally place salt into their water for sure, even if they're spring water, but exactly, if you do the best with what you've got always until you can get the next place. That's a wonderful suggestion. Thanks so much on that. So you shared so much on why you really, why you are part of nature, so much of why you're part of nature, and how you inspire women. And just one more time, share why you feel it's important for people, especially women, to hang on to natural beauty rituals and that ancient knowledge of our natural world when it comes to ourselves over the commercial brands and chemical-based products that were marketed every day.
Well, you know why? Simply because we deserve it. We deserve the best. We're divine creatures. We're here with a purpose. We're here with a desire to experience all the beauty and the bounty of this abundant life. And I just feel like, look at nature. Look how abundant it is. Look how generous it is. Look how beautiful it is. Like, we're so blessed. And when we're living a life that's away from that, we just don't feel as abundant. People are always trying to feel abundant. Well, just go outside. Is there one blade of grass on your lawn? Is there one leaf on the tree? Is there one tree in the forest? Is there one fish in the ocean? Like, we are living in the most incredible, limitless, miraculous system that's totally abundant. And so when we experience the things the way we're meant to, naturally, that's when we're going to really tap into that holy flow, the beauty, the health, the abundance that nature truly is and that we truly are. I always say, nature's gifts are a reflection and will enhance your nature and your gifts. And I truly, truly believe that.
Indeed. I more than believe that. I've seen it. I know it. I've seen it. I've seen it in our world enough to know the difference indeed. So it's beautiful, beautiful message to share and to live from. And we're coming near the end of our time. And I just wanted to, Irene, did you have anything in particular that you might want to?
Oh, thank you. I've been inspired to re-examine what I do and how I do it and move myself to a more natural manner in which to live. Thank you very much for your words and your comments.
Oh, my pleasure, Irene. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Just as a last word, I'm in my 50s now. And when I was in my 20s and teens and 30s, I was a really sick, weak, depressed being. And, I really believe that aging can be a beautification process, no matter how much damage we've done to ourselves or what life has thrown at us. And I know I've been through the ringer in my life. I lived on the streets. I lost my mom when I was young, and she was a single parent. So like I had like a rough start in life, and I have a very sensitive nature, and I just find that these things that we speak of in this talk has given me everything I need to have really evolved, or not evolved, but allowed myself to emerge out of that. And I believe that it's possible for anyone, because I know I've been to the depths of the downs, and I've had illnesses, I've had psychological and insomnia, and just so many challenges, like we all do. But just, start to do one thing that's closer to nature and let it build upon another. I always say one good thing leads to more. So, just get started. If you need any help, or if you want to have a consultation with me and see, how we might work together and what I would recommend for you, you can reach out at customer service@earthempress.com, or go to my site, earthempress.com. And I would love to hear from you and see, what your next steps are. And I hope you've enjoyed the interview. You can read my book. And if you want more, go do a body cleanse. And if you want more than that, we can talk about some coaching. But either way, let me know how you love this interview. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions or comments, I'm totally here.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. And thank you so much for your time today. And as we just shared, everybody can find you through either the email customer service or at your earthempress.com. And that is so worth sitting and spending an afternoon with a cup of tea and diving through. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. So this is Jacqueline and Irene, and on behalf of the rest of the members of the Okanagan Naturist Association, we want to remind you that no matter who you are an integral part of nature. She needs you as much as you need her. And the only way to have a relationship with your planet is to get outside and get involved in her world. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.